So imagine you have this massive challenge. How do you get thousands of teachers, students, and industry experts all spread out across an entire educational system to actually talk to each other? It's a huge task, right? Well, today, we're looking at Quebec's really cool solution, a central knowledge hub for vocational training. Let's dive in and see how they pulled it off.
I mean, think about it. It's a huge challenge. You've got all these moving parts, so many different needs, and all this super valuable knowledge that's usually stuck in one school or one institution. How in the world do you bring everybody together so they can share what really works?
Well, here's Quebec's answer, the Observatory. You can think of it as the central nervous system for the entire field of vocational training. It's one single place designed for connection, for sharing knowledge, and for making collaboration happen.
Okay, so to really get what this hub is all about, we've got to look at who's behind it, and probably more importantly, why they even created it in the first place.
It officially got its start in late 2019, but the idea, well, that came directly from that core problem we just talked about, this deep need to connect a huge, super important, but often really disconnected part of the education system.
And this is a really key point. The Observatory isn't just some static website, it's a consortium. And what that means is that it's powered by a living, breathing network of actual people, researchers, teachers on the ground, and industry leaders, all working together.
Their mission is laser-focused. You can break it down into 3 key actions. First, they generate new knowledge through research. Second, they synthesize it, basically making complicated ideas easy to understand. And third, they disseminate it, which is all about getting that knowledge into the hands of the people who can actually use it every day.
And you got to understand, the scale here is just massive. We're talking about a system with over 100,000 students, more than 200 different programs, and over 7,000 teachers. So this isn't some tiny little niche. It's a huge community that the Observatory is built to serve.
So what holds this whole thing together? Well, it's all built on this foundation of really strong collaborative values. It's about collegiality, working together as peers. It's about mutual support, bringing in expertise from all kinds of different fields, and this is crucial, making sure everyone who has a stake in this gets a seat at the table. That's how the work stays relevant and grounded.
All right, so with a mission that big, how do you even begin to organize all that work? Well, it turns out they use a pretty clever thematic structure.
Instead of trying to boil the ocean and tackle everything at once, they organize all their research and resources around what they call thematic axes. Just think of these as the major focus areas, the big questions and challenges that everyone in vocational training is dealing with.
And these themes are so practical and relevant. They're looking at everything from a teacher's professional identity to classroom management to the big one, hybrid learning. And of course, best practices for supporting students. These aren't just abstract ideas, these are the real-world issues that educators are facing every single day.
Okay, so this brings us to what might be the most important part for anybody using this thing. What do you actually get from the Observatory? What are the real, tangible resources that it provides to the community?
The resources are basically split into 2 main buckets. On one side, you have the boîte à outils, which literally translates to toolbox, and that's exactly what it is. It's the hands-on stuff, practical guides, tools, and materials for the classroom. Then, on the other side, you have the scientific publications, which is the deep-dive academic research that fuels the whole system.
And if you take a closer look at the research, you can really see the depth here. They're publishing studies on teacher identity, the real effectiveness of hybrid learning, and evidence-based practices for student support. So the key takeaway is that the practical tools in that toolbox aren't just random ideas, they are backed by serious, rigorous academic work.
But the Observatory does more than just hand out resources. It actually plays a much bigger role. It's really trying to connect and lift up the entire vocational training ecosystem.
One of their absolutely coolest projects is something called the Schéma Général. You can think of it as a complete, interactive map of Quebec's entire vocational training system. It's designed to help everyone, from a policymaker down to a brand new teacher, see how all the different pieces of this complex world actually fit together.
So when you pull it all together, the Observatory's real impact boils down to 3 huge goals. 1. It makes networking happen, breaking down those silos. 2. It raises the profile of vocational training, showing just how important it is. And 3, it builds strong bridges between the world of education and the actual labor market, making sure students are ready for what's next.
At the end of the day, it's not just any one of these things. It's really a dynamic hub that weaves together research, practical tools, and real community engagement, all into one powerful, evolving platform. And that really just leaves us with a final thought. What Quebec has built here is a powerful blueprint for breaking down silos and connecting a community. It really makes you stop and wonder, what could a dedicated hub like this, one that connects research, practice, and community, achieve in your field?